What's going on, guys? Kivox here and Meekachii. This is, I think, our first video, unless you count the stream.
First video of the year.
First video of the year. Yeah, not our
first video ever.
We're going to be doing a wrap-up and TBR. So wrap-up for December, the final wrap-up. And then we're going to be doing the TBR for January 2021.
So it's going to be a bit of a longer video for those that like our longer videos. And we're also going to be showing off our book thing for next year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Our new ones, right? Because we got some new ones. So we start with wrap up. Yeah? Yeah. So at the beginning of the year, last year, 2020, I made these. We've been doing this for a couple of years now, 3 years now. This is the 4th year that we've been keeping track of all of our reviews in physical form. And we made these. Pretty simple.
You made these.
I made these. It was pretty simple, little design and wrap, and then we vote for all. We don't vote. We rate all of our books inside.
Where's mine?
Yours is the frozen looking one. So. You read so many more books than me, man. This year was embarrassing for me.
So I ended up changing my Goodreads goal because I failed and I didn't. Someone told me that if you fail your Goodreads goal, like you can't see it anymore. So I purposely decreased it so I wouldn't fail so that I would be able to see it after that year. Correct me if I'm wrong, if that's not a thing, but yeah, I ended up reading 60 books, but a couple of those were DNFs, so I didn't really read 60 books.
You didn't finish 60 books, but you did start them. I had a couple DNFs, but one of them is like a DNF that I will eventually get to. I hope. That's Dune. So wait, actually, before we start, I do want to show this off because if you're just curious about this, this is going to be our next. You can see that they're a little smaller. These were basically prototypes for the actual one that's up on the shop now. So you can pick up one of these. If you're going to pick them up, you may want to pick them up sooner rather than later. So you could start, January and vote for all your. Why do I keep saying vote? And rate all of your books and stuff. We have some suggestions on the back
of books that we loved.
And the designs are different. This is basically what they look like. Except it'll say your name down here if you choose to have your name printed. But yeah, it's these. I like these a lot better. They're a little smaller. The goal for these, somebody mentioned this before. They're like, hey, you should not put the year on there so that we could reuse them. First of all, that wouldn't work because you're sticking stickers on them. You're going to have to try to peel off stickers off of like a wood-like material.
I don't think they said reuse, but they meant like just use them for multiple years if you don't read a lot. So like that's what they meant.
But then that would fill up and that would be weird.
Like the whole point is to be like almost like a journal, so you put it on your shelf after you do it.
A yearly journal, though.
Yeah. So like this is my 2021 journal, and they're supposed to be like a yearly thing. So I think we'll probably keep the years on them because that's how we do it.
Yeah. If you don't like it.
If you don't like it, I'm sorry.
Too bad.
So yeah.
So okay. So
there is a video on this, right?
Yes.
So there's a video on this, and these are up for sale on the Etsy shop if you want one. And there's a customized option and a non-customized option.
All right, now that the ad spot is done, let's get to the wrap up.
So my TBR jar pick for December was Starsight. I always want to call it Skyward.
It was my choice too, except I don't pick out of a jar. I just go. That book sounds interesting. I'll want to read it. Did you already say it's a sequel to Skyward?
No.
It's a sequel to Skyward, and that book was good. It's like a sci-fi Brandon Sanderson book, which is...
YA.
Who cares if it's YA?
There's a big difference between YA and adult, but this is a good YA.
But it definitely seems YA. Like, looking back, it definitely has a YA feel, but it's not like a baby YA. It's like a almost adult YA, like...
He does YA good.
Brandon Sanderson is a genius. He's just so good, okay? I don't care. I don't think I've ever read a bad Brandon Sanderson book. I've read some that I don't love.
Yeah.
But they're always like minimum 4. Every single one I've read, I think, was a minimum of a 4. And if it wasn't, eventually it became a 4 in my head because I started thinking about it, and I'm like, dang, that actually was good. Or I read the sequel to it, and I was like, dang, that was. Now I get it. Now I get where he was going with this. I missed the boat. Does it make sense?
Maybe. So we can't really talk about this book in particular too much. However, I didn't like this one as much as the first one. I probably would give the first one a 5-star if I didn't give it a 5-star originally. I liked this one slightly less. In case you didn't know, you're kind of thrown into a different environment for this book. So you're following the same main character, but she's not on her home planet like she was before, and it kind of jarred me a bit, and I wasn't expecting that. And I didn't really like the setting as much as the first book, which threw me off for quite a bit. However, I really liked the end, so...
Oh, my turn. Yeah, I read it too. So I thought it was very interesting. I was wondering how he was going to change up the story for the second one.
I had a vision in my mind where it could go, and he just totally went a different way.
Completely. It wasn't predictable at all.
No, and it threw me off though, because I was like, he could have made this so cool in my mind using the ending of the first book, but it just like...
I thought it was great. I thought it was very interesting. It was very different. But like the thing is, sometimes we fall into this thing where we think we know what's best. But like, if it was the way that you were thinking it, think about how similar it would have been to other things that you have probably already read.
Yeah, because I suck and I can't imagine stuff.
Yeah, because I mean that's part of it, right? You imagine, but as a writer, I'm assuming they have to like change it because everything is copying something else in some way. It's inspired. There's no original ideas or whatever. It's just different variations of the same thing. But I think that this book was definitely weird and different. I predicted one thing, but I didn't really predict it.
You totally predicted it.
There were hints. There were hints all over the book.
Yeah, but my mind was nowhere in that realm. Like, I never would have guessed it. Like, you totally nailed it on the head.
But I did, but I am not going to say, like, oh, I'm a genius. I think just like Brandon Sanderson. But the reason it happened, he laid out all the hints. It was his writing that helped me figure it out. Hints from the first book, hints from the second book, obviously throughout the whole thing. But there was one big thing in the first book that led to the thing. I was just like, oh, this is probably this, Meek. I'm going to tell you right now, this is my prediction. And then you were like, that's stupid. It's pretty much the way you're like, I don't see it. I don't get how that's possible. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It seems like it's legit. And then like an hour later, the book like told me that that's what it was. I was just like, all right, cool.
Rating time?
Yeah. What'd you give it?
Hold this.
All right.
So I think on Goodreads I gave it a 4.5, but I think I'm going to give it a 4.
What?
Just because I didn't like it as much as the first one. I know you loved it, but I just couldn't get past my vision of what I expected it to be and how it was completely different. And I didn't overly love where it went at first. I ended up liking it in the end, but...
Do you remember what I gave it?
Probably a 5 or a 4.5.
I'm gonna say a 4.5 because that's how I remember it right now. Mm-hmm. Maybe we took too long. I would have maybe given it a better grade when it first came out. But I'm gonna say a 4.5. It was very good. It was more. The only down thing that I didn't my main gripe with it I think was that the young adult thing, like things like that, like just a lot of times it was the best young adult, the best version of it, but it's still like,
because you do read quite a few young adult books.
Yeah.
And this one you could tell
it seems better. Like most books are young adult.
Yeah.
Like there's just so many.
A lot of the ones that I buy based on like what I see online and stuff is young adult books.
They're also usually cheaper.
They are definitely cheaper. This book was expensive.
Well, it's because young adults don't have money, and they need to make books for them, so they need to make them cheaper. That's just as simple as possible.
Plus parents are more likely to spend $10 on a book instead of $30.
But also, I would say that they're probably, I don't want to alienate anybody, but I want to say that they're easier to write because adults are a lot pickier. I feel like kids are more, not kids, but young adults are they're still developing their opinions
It's
and
a
all this
different
stuff.
writing style.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I personally, I don't like a lot of adult books.
Because you're already past that phase in your life. You know what
adult?
I mean? No,
Yeah,
young adult.
I'm so old that I'm past adult. Jeez, Meek. Rude.
You're past young adult, so it's like it's hard for us to connect to those types of characters.
No, but I'm saying I just don't like the moral and things like you learn a moral, you learn a lesson every time.
Sailor Moon says.
Yeah, that type of stuff. As when books are written like that. Like I like the whole what's that? Not Holopox or
Holopox.
The previous one. Nevermore. We had to look it up.
That's a middle grade, technically.
It's not even a young adult.
No.
Oh, because it feels like a middle grade. Like it's so like.
Yeah, it's what you have to go into it knowing that.
I did.
Yeah.
It was alright.
I like it.
It was alright. They weren't great books though.
Too much.
I know. I mean, this is the first video of the year. We got to make this one long. We're just hanging out.
Next book was our book club book.
We do these videos once a month, Meek. We got to catch up on everything. Wait, how come you're doing all the ones that I read?
Well, I was going in order.
Why in order?
All right, I'll talk about.
Give me something to talk about later.
My Wrapped book, which I failed on because I DNF'd it.
You didn't like it. So, there's that.
Look, up until now, I've been forcing myself, even if I don't like my Wrapped books and my jar books, I've been forcing myself to read them. And one of my goals for 2021, which I say this is a goal every year, but I never actually do it, is to DNF more stuff that I'm not enjoying. And I started that in December. I was like, I'm really not enjoying this book. It's not that it's poorly written. I just couldn't get into the story. I didn't care about anything that was going on. I didn't care about the world or the characters. I was just not enjoying myself. I like the premise of the story, but I feel it could have been done so much better. That's really mean, but I just didn't like it. I didn't like the setting or the characters or anything about it, basically. So I wasn't having fun. And even though it was a Wrapped book, I was like, why am I doing this to myself? I DNF'd it. So that's basically that.
I'm sorry. I wrapped that book for you.
Dude, I bought the book.
It's my fault.
Where's my sticky for it? There it is. I mean, I'm the one that bought the book. It's not your fault. You just base the wrapping off of my shelf.
I look at the synopsis and I'm like,
Holdy.
All right.
So I would say it's not a dead DNF because it's not that it was poorly written per se. It just wasn't for me. So it was a regular DNF.
Yeah, that one next. Yeah.
Our book club book, Circe, by Madeline Miller. We have a whole ranty video, live stream video on this if you want to know our in-depth thoughts. But basically, we didn't love it. I feel like
if you disagree with us,
yeah, let me know why you like it so much. It has 400,000 reviews on Goodreads, and it's over 4 stars, which I don't understand. There is no plot to this book. Literally no plot. And even though it's beautifully written, it was kind of boring in my mind. So why did you love it? People that loved it, please enlighten us.
Yeah, tell me why you're wrong.
Stop.
Got him.
But so you noticed that too. We both agreed that there is no plot.
Dude, I told you. I read it first.
There was
and I
no
just
arc, overarching story. There was no.
No, I mean there was, but it wasn't interesting. It spanned okay. So I think the best way that I described it was that it's a bunch of short stories in this person's life, in Circe's life, and there's a bunch of little climaxes. But it's always you can predict it. It's always something. It's going good. Everything's great. Oh, something bad's gonna happen. We know because it's already happened 5 times. Everything's been good. Oh, here comes the bad, and then it's okay, everything's settling down. Okay, she suffered a bit. Okay, now everything's getting good again. Here it comes. It's it happens 8 times.
But it's not that so to me. I felt like it was going nowhere.
But that's the thing,
as I was reading
because of that, there's a bunch of little stories that end, but the overarching story is super boring.
Well, in hindsight, we had to literally sit down and think, what was the overarching story? That's
it
not
was just her life.
Good.
It was basically her life.
But there were 3 pivotal things that happened in this book, and we can't go over it here because it's spoilers. But there was 3 pivotal points that you could kind of make an arc, and like, but it wasn't put together in a way that's natural for you to think of it. Like, I don't know how to describe it.
The weird thing too, it's like it's her life, but she's a god, so she can't die.
She's not a god, but she's immortal.
She's a god. They called her a god. They called her goddess. The whole thing.
Yeah.
So therefore, I'm considering her a god. I'm sorry. She may not have all the powers that Zeus and what was her father's name? Helios.
Yeah. That's like, another thing that this book did. They threw 8,000 names at you, and I'm sorry.
It's
like,
really weird because like I don't mind it.
I am not all of like these Greek mythology. Is it Greek mythology?
Yeah.
Like the names, I mess them up a lot in my head. I don't really know these characters, so it's not intuitive for me to latch onto these names and know who they're talking about. And I don't feel like enough context was given for each character to remember the names by. So like some of them I remembered, but most of them I forgot within 5 seconds. And there were a lot of them.
I didn't mind.
You didn't have that trouble like I did.
I don't know. I just maybe I've just watched and
maybe
mostly watched.
Because I feel like
I haven't read like any Greece stuff, but I've watched a lot of movies and anime and cartoons.
Or like God of War. But I feel like
God of War is like a stretch. Like God of War has the names. That's about it. What's going on? God of War has the names, but that's about it. Like it doesn't have anything.
I will still read Song of Achilles because I really love that story. Like based on I've read I've at least watched Troy like 100 times. Not really. But I loved that movie.
That would be so many times.
Yeah, I didn't really. But like I feel like I know those characters more, so I may enjoy it more. And people tend to like Song of Achilles better, so I would still be willing to check it out. I'm making it sound like I hated this book, but I didn't.
Achilles is such a better character than Circe. Circe was just like whiny and like dumb.
Like everyone hates me. She was bullied her entire life.
Yeah.
Really.
So suck it up, Buttercup. Figure it out. You need help? Yeah. Come on, Mick. You got this. You're missing it. Your depth is what's up with your depth right now? So yeah, by the way, guys, if you do plan on picking up one of these review boards, I do have a video on how to print out these tiny little sticker board things. Also, you get the sticker paper. Yeah. We send you 13 sheets of sticker paper if I counted right. Maybe it'll be 12 if I miscounted. But we send you usually enough to print out all of your books once a month. You almost hit me in the face.
So I acted like I hated this book, but I gave it a 3. It was all right. Like I didn't really find myself hating any parts of it. I was just kind of like, it's all right.
It's all right.
It's all right.
Open mine up. I want you to hold mine for me now.
Oh no.
Here we go. I acted like I hated this book, but I also gave it a 3. The thing is, exactly like you said, it was boring, but it was written, like you said, beautifully. You know, the author is a very good author, I feel.
Writer.
But it's just the story. The story is where it got to me. If it was like a bunch of short stories, and if it was like, I feel like, I don't know, the short stories themselves, like as single little things, were pretty good. But again, they were very predictable.
But then sometimes they would bring back things. Like I still can't get over that one part where it's like they made this big mini arc about that character when the woman was pregnant.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, by the way, they died. Like 100 pages later, it's like, what? What happened? They don't tell you anything. I don't know.
And then there was also like, I don't know what happened to her brother. There was like a lot of like loopholes, I feel like, in the story. The characters, their motivations didn't really always make sense to me. And that's why I don't think that it was a terrible book. It's not for us. I think it's not our style of reading, and it's just not for us. If you compare it to the other books that we like, those are more, action adventure, RPGs.
So then I read one more book.
Well, was this your replacement for the other one?
I picked this one up because I was like, all right, I didn't finish my
I don't like the cover. Book. I don't like the cover. I'm just going to...
This is an exclusive cover, too.
Oh, terrible.
But Kingdom of the Wicked, everyone is raving about this book. Like, people that didn't like her Stalking Jack the Ripper series are saying this book is amazing.
But you liked Stalking Jack the Ripper.
I really did. I think overall it was like a 4-star like series. This book, man, I don't get the hype. So please, once again, if you can explain to me the hype. I don't like witch stories. I really don't like witches in stories, which is funny because like Cersei is technically like a witch, and this is very stereotypical witch, like almost like gathering things together and spells and summoning and junk like that. And it's not my forte, first off, but I figured like I really liked her writing. Maybe I'll be able to get into it. It was still really difficult for me to get into that setting. And then people talk about the romance in this book. Like, they're like, oh my God, it's so steamy and awesome. There is like no romance. What are you talking about?
I don't get you people.
I like romance in stories, but like this, it didn't have any romance. Like,
Gross.
where people are like, oh, it's such a slow burn and it was like so good. And like the romance was so awesome. And like, I kept waiting for the good, slow burn, super feely romance, and like I never got that. I was like, where is it? Like, maybe something's wrong with me. I don't know, but I never felt any romantic anything toward any of these characters. Or not me, but I feel like the main character didn't feel
what's
that.
going on here? What's happening?
So I didn't get it. I don't know. I felt like the story overall was kind of predictable and lacking a bit, and I was quite honestly pretty bored through most of it. I'm really disappointed because I liked her other series quite a bit, and I was really looking forward to this, even though I knew
What is it about?
that witchy stories wasn't like my
All I
type
know
of
is that
thing.
it's a witchy story.
So it's basically like her sister dies, and she's got to figure out like why her sister died, and it turns out that her sister was like dabbling in things she shouldn't have been.
Like witchcraft.
So she like summons a prince of hell and ends up, I guess that's where the romance is supposed to be, but I don't know. It wasn't, to me, I didn't like
That's
it.
mine.
Well,
It's
I'm
right
looking
there.
for the sticker.
I put a spell on you. I'll hold this.
I gave it a 2.
Nice. That's it. This is 2021, guys. Here, hold yours. I hold mine.
2020.
2020. My bad. Yeah. How many did you read? Let's count them.
Well, technically 60. I have 60 things on this board, including my DNFs. So 57 I actually completed.
21.
So what's your goal? To read more this year?
30 again.
I made mine at 50.
Mine is 30. My goal for this year, for 2020, was 30.
Mine was 60, and I was 3 books shy. So.
I'm gonna just go on. Last year though, the year before, I did good.
Yeah.
I did good, yo. Granted though, some of these books, some of these books weren't even that big. It wasn't even this year.
Most of them were.
It wasn't even this year that we did all the Brandon Sanderson books. It was the year before, and those books were like this big.
I know.
But they were amazing.
One of my goals also this year is to finish his the books that are out for the Stormlight Archive series. Like I really want to read.
I
Oathbringer.
did have 3 stars though this
I
year.
had
so like,
1, and it was a reread.
it was a read that you had, a book that you had already, and nostalgia probably
Yeah,
had
a
something
big
to
factor.
do with that. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, so moving on to the TBR, right? Yes, I got it this time. We have a couple of different things that we do this year. Look at this, guys. Do you see how long did this take you?
Forever.
You literally wrote them by hand.
Yeah.
You how much faster can you type?
A million times
Yeah.
faster.
It would have been so much faster if you just typed out a list, cut them out.
And the problem
then,
is too is like there are absolutely doubles in there. So basically like
if you
because I
notice
kept
it.
messing up.
Yeah.
So basically, I try to write books down as I get them so I could put them in the jar because my TBR jar is essentially now every single unread book I have. That's not going to deter me from just picking up books off of my shelf. I'm still going to do that. And if I happen to pull a book that I already read, I will just pull another one. But yeah, those are technically, it's over 500 books that I have.
Over 500!
I physically have that I haven't read. And I didn't even include sequels. It's just the first or whatever book I'm on in the series that I have to read.
This is terrifying to
Yeah.
me. Like, I don't like this. Like, I would not want to do this because it's like, I know that there are books in there that you got and you were like, oh, I actually don't want to read this.
Well, DNF them. That's my other goal, remember, is to DNF more books that I'm not loving.
Okay.
So.
But what if you just get one you're like,
then I will read
you don't even want to start it.
Then I would probably just get rid of the book.
You have to at least read the first chapter.
All right.
That's the rule.
All
you have to read the first chapter at minimum. And if you're like, nope, I was right about this, I'm not doing it. Because like otherwise, what's the point, right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's part of the thing. We just made this rule up here. So on the spot. You're gonna do one of these a month?
Yeah, and if I end up DNFing it, I'll probably pull another one.
Before we start. Okay, so you're gonna have minimum one of these.
A rap book.
One of the rap books, which we're gonna get to pretty soon. It's another fun thing that we do.
And the book club.
And the book club. So you have a minimum of 3 books.
That's how it was for the last
every month.
2 years.
Are we gonna keep it at
year.
that? Or are we gonna have a minimum? Like you also have to pick your own book.
No, I was gonna keep it at that, and then if I feel like reading more, I will.
Okay.
Or if I feel like pulling another book from here, I will. Or if I feel like
but here's the thing, though. Let's do the math. That's a minimum of 36. Mm-hmm. So now, that's only half.
Yeah, but
of what your goal is.
We do, because we have Patreon. If you're a patron, you can have access to our Discord. We do a lot of buddy reads on Discord throughout the year. Okay. Just randomly.
You do.
And there are books that I just.
You do 30?
No.
Because that's how much you need.
There are books throughout the year that I just feel like reading 24. And I pick up and read.
You would need 24 books. Okay. So that's 2 a month.
I'm not going to stop myself because of this jar. I'm not going to stop myself from reading books.
What I'm saying is you could do 2 from here. We wrapped 13 books this year.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Because I was like, I want to do 13. I want to mess you up. So we did 13. So maybe 1 month you're going to have to pick 2.
Maybe.
Or maybe.
Okay, look. Let me know if you guys are with me. Like, I feel like if I give myself too much of a goal each month, that you're just setting yourself up for failure. Like.
Yes, but. Failing high is better than failing low. Setting yourself up to fail. You see what I'm saying?
But 3 books that I have to read, I feel like is enough. And then if I want to read more, I can pick up whatever I want.
Another thing too. How many DNFs are you allowing out of these?
I'm not limiting it.
Like, so if you hate all of them, you're just not going to read them.
No, I guess if I DNF one, I'll have to pick another book to read. Or pick one out of the jar.
You got to pick one out of the jar. I like that rule better. So if you DNF one of those, you can't pick your own. You got to pick one out of here. Okay? We just need rules for... So somebody write down these rules because I am going to forget and let us know in the future videos. But we just have to have
rules. The rules so far is if I read one of these, if I pick one of these, I have to at least read 1 chapter.
Yes, and then you have to pick another one out of here.
If I don't if I DNF it.
So if you DNF any of these books, you have to pick another one out of here. Now, if you DNF another book that you just chose, you're okay. Yeah. You don't have to you worry about it.
I already chose a book out of here.
Out of here?
Yeah, so...
You did?
I did.
So wait, we don't get to pick one now?
We
do.
In
the video?
No, I already... So basically,
Oh, I see. You already picked one that is in here still.
Yeah, no, it's not in there.
Oh, you actually grabbed it. Okay.
So, Book Roast does her TBR Vatar thing, and it's like a board that you print out.
Those aren't words.
I'm not going to film my choices on here, but basically I was like, all right, I'm going to try this. I'll print out the board, see what happens. And one of the options was to pick a book out of a jar or from your TBR shelf. So I was like, oh, that sounds fun. So my first book of the year that I actually read already, but I'm not going to rate it yet because, we're not doing our January wrap up, and I did finish it in January, was Soundless by Rochelle Mead. So this book came from there. It's basically about a girl who lives in this village up on the top of the mountain, and for some reason in this village they lost their hearing. So they use only sign language to communicate.
How do they do that in book form?
Because they translate the sign.
That'd be cool. They just have their hands in there.
Basically, they live up there and send down. They mine because there's like a mine on top of this mountain, and they send down metals, and then they don't really know what's down at the base of the mountain as far as like the city, but all they know is that they give them food for the metals that they send down. And now people are starting to go blind on top of deaf.
What?
And it's like, It was actually pretty interesting. But I'll talk more in depth about my thoughts at the end of the month. So this was one book that I already picked from the TBR jar for me to read in January. Do you want to talk about this one or no?
Sure. That's the book club book.
Yeah, so our book club book for January.
When's the book club?
Let me look. January 31st.
31st. Right? Sunday.
January.
Is it Sunday?
Yes.
2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It's the New York time.
January 31st, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Our book club pick is The Rise of Kyoshi Avatar book.
If you don't know, she's one of the avatars previous to before Aang. I think a few before Aang. I think she was more in Korra than in
like her story.
Yeah.
I don't know. So this is a duology, I believe. So this is book 1. Yeah. So anyone is free to join this.
I'm pretty sure she's an avatar, right?
Yes.
Okay, good. Did you start reading it yet?
Yeah.
All right, good. Because I thought she was. I remember the name. But I haven't started reading this yet.
It's pretty good so far. I don't love the narrator. It was free on Audible. I don't know if it's still free, but if you have Audible, if you are already a subscriber to Audible, you were able to get it for free. I got it for free. I know a few other people did. But the narrator's not great, but it's not terrible either. But so far, yeah. I don't really want to tell you much about this.
Is there any way we could read the synopsis?
I just said I don't want to.
You don't want to talk about it, but can't you just read the synopsis? If you guys like Avatar, you'll probably like this book. So, hopefully you guys... I
forgot this beginning part, and I don't want to reread it to you, because I think it's kind of cool how they do it.
Okay.
So basically...
So, you recommend it had been, right now.
Yeah.
As far as you are.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, basically, what's going on is, like, the last Avatar died at the age of like 30-something, so they were pretty young, and they are searching for the next Avatar.
So yeah, so the new Avatar is only born after the previous one dies.
Each village, or each
what is it called?
Oh my god.
Not region.
No, but like the fire, wind,
nation.
Yeah, has their own way of searching for the Avatar, and I guess depending on what Avatar was previous, like,
yeah, there's the next in line.
They use a certain way of determining who the Avatar is. And they have a long search ahead of them, and it's took like 9 years to find the next Avatar.
I thought you didn't want to tell me anything about this.
I'm not.
You're telling me so much now.
Anyway, so it's pretty good so far. I'm liking it. So that's our book club pick. Now we have...
Wait, I got a book too. Get Audible up. Reborn Apocalypse is book 2, right? Book 2 by
Reborn Apocalypse, yeah.
L.M. Kerr. I love the first one. I think it was one of my... Was it one of my things?
Stars, yeah.
Yeah, it was one of my stars. This one is definitely...
That one's called Reborn Apocalypse 2.
I know, that's book 2.
Oh.
Volume 2.
Gotcha.
Which is great. It's a lit RPG, and it's like pretty litty. It's lit, let's just say. It's great. So far, it's just more of the same. So far, it's on its way to be another star. It may be my first star of the year, which is always exciting. If you like lit RPGs, I think this is one of the best. It's very good. It's very video gamey, but basically the concept is at some point a bunch of people got teleported from Earth to this other realm. Where when you start off, you basically get put into like a menu screen where you have a certain amount of points that you somehow, nobody knows how they acquire the points. But some people have more points than others, and they can buy basically like a subclass. They can buy abilities. And then they get dropped into this world where there's these things called Meekachii, which are like these zombie-like creatures. And, just like in a video game, if you kill them, you get points. And you get to spend those points on more things, and you get to acquire more abilities.
It's very video game-esque.
Yeah, well, that's the literary RPG part of it, right? Yeah. So it's very good. There's a little twist at the beginning, which is super cool on the first book. So I do recommend the first one, and it's a good series so far. I don't know how many books there are.
I gave the first one a 4, I think. Where is it? Yeah, 4. I liked it too.
It's one of my favorites. Very nice. Very good. It's long. It's like 20 hours long, 20 something hours
Yeah,
long, which
shoot.
is super exciting because like I was listening to it and like I was like, oh man, I must be right close to the end because something crazy is happening. And I look at it, there's like, I'm like 5 hours in. I'm like, yes, I have more to read. That's so exciting. That's what's weird about audiobooks is that you don't always know like how far into the book you are because it'll just be like 5 hours in. It's like, how far is that? Like,
Well,
I
no,
don't
it
know.
tells you how much you have left.
Yeah, but you have to like pay attention to that. You
Yeah.
know, like when you have a physical book and you're like at the end, you're like, oh man, I'm getting to the end. You know, you cannot not know where you are.
If you're like me though, I'm like always checking like how much time do I have left.
Oh, I'm not.
I always do that.
So what's next?
Either the wrapped books or the jar.
I say we do the jar.
I know it's hard to even like mix
them. Yeah, you really can't.
You could stick your fingers in there.
All right. You gonna do it?
You usually pick it.
Okay. Here it is.
It's so like anticlimactic.
No way.
Don't show it. My handwriting is terrible.
Okay, all right. That's why you should have typed. I told you. Wolf in the Whale Toy.
No, Wolf
What?
and the Whale by Brodsky.
Oh, I thought that was toy. Your handwriting is very terrible. It's disgusting.
I don't know if I care about this book. Well, we'll see. I guess I have to read at least a chapter.
That's amazing. Why did you put this book in the thing if you don't want to read it?
It's all of my TBR.
Why would you do this to me? Are we gonna read the snaps?
Yeah.
See, if she had done it digitally, like writing it up, she could have done it into like a spreadsheet, checked off all of her. Oh, she's coming back.
Dude,
Can I see the cover? Can I see what it looks like? Show them. You just the cover's cool. I like it. It's alright.
says there's a very old story, rarely told, of a wolf that runs into the ocean and becomes a whale. Born with the soul of a hunter and the spirit of the wolf, Omat is destined to follow in her grandfather's footsteps, invoking the spirits of the land, sea, and sky to protect her people. But the gods have stopped listening, and Omat's family is starving. Alone at the end of the world, hope is all they have left. Desperate to save them, Omat journeys across the icy wastes, fighting for survival with every step. When she meets a Viking warrior and his strange new gods, they set in motion a conflict that could shatter her. The Wolf and the Whale blends Inuit and North mythology into an epic adventure in the frozen Arctic 1,000 years ago.
It doesn't sound bad, to be honest with you.
It does sound dense.
You sound dense.
have,
Got him.
These weird things in the chapters, like
the numbers.
Oh, no,
they're
the
not
same.
numbers.
Never mind. I don't know. It's a long book, dude.
Dude, it's like 500 and something pages. When we start getting into the 900s, 1500s, okay, those are big books, all right?
Let me know if you've read this and what you think.
Give me a break.
Sounds all right. All right.
All right, so you're picking another one now?
No, heck no.
Oh, okay. All right, so let's get to the best part. So these are our wrapped books. Look at these cool.
I like.
What are you doing?
I like this paper I chose.
It's like denim.
I love it.
Or this is supposed to
I
be
really
denim?
love these waves.
So, dude, honestly, we asked some of our patrons, the book patrons, to suggest. We took some pictures of our bookshelves, and we said, hey, pick some books that you guys think sound cool or you like. So they gave me a big list.
And I don't know what they chose because they put it in like how do you put it?
Spoilered it.
They spoilered it
Like
on Discord, so I couldn't see what it was.
They blocked it, so nobody could read it unless you clicked on it. So I had a huge list of books, and I had to go through all of them. I don't know what any of them are. That was the worst part, and I don't know.
But
by the way,
chose some too.
Listen. Patrons, listen to me, please. Chatty Cathy's, listen. Next time, put the freaking author, dude.
Dude, you should have heard him last night. All angry.
I spent hours. Legit.
He's like, why didn't no one put authors? I don't know what these books look like.
This time, legit. I had to make a list, and then I had to Google them I had to figure out who the author was, and then I have to go through this. But authors it's the worst way to find books because you don't never know where the author is written
on the
side.
Yeah.
It's just all over the place, and I'm not good at looking for books. I'm not a librarian. Would I look like a librarian? No. These are just my glasses. They're not. They're just these. They call my sandals. So yesterday, I spent like probably an hour finding the books. Like legit, an hour finding the books. And then I had my stack of books here. I actually made a list of which ones are suggested by who. So hopefully you pick one of the ones that was suggested by somebody, not just me, because I didn't put a paper in the...
Oh, the ones that are yours?
That are mine, because then you'll know that those are mine, the ones that don't have the suggestions.
Okay.
So some of them were suggested by multiple people, so I was like, okay, let's do this, because this one was suggested by like 3 different people, so, we might as well. But then I spent like legit, I watched like almost all of Ford versus Ferrari here while wrapping these books, and that's a long movie. So I legit spent like at least 2.5 hours wrapping these yesterday. I figured, let me wait till the last freaking second. It was like 10:30 by the time I was done that night. So the idea is we have 13. Can you count them? Make sure I know how to count.
There's 12.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know how to count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right, there's 12. So forget 13. I lied.
Dude, last night you were like racking your brain.
Imagine if I had gotten rid of one of them like I wanted to.
Yeah, there's 12.
All right, well, I know how to count. I thought I did the math right, but then I came in here and I counted them, and I thought I counted 13. So luckily, okay.
He almost got rid of one.
So do you want to get a D12? We're going to roll a digital D12 because we don't want to go upstairs. And it's going to take like a minute to do that. So we're going to just, hold on. So it'll be top to bottom?
Yeah.
That's what we always say, right? And then we always remember that song.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you show me so I can see it? All right, here we go. Ready? 12. What number is that?
I don't know.
10.
10.
Oh, no.
That's
a big boy. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, no.
That's literally the biggest one that it could have possibly been. So, good luck.
Dude, I have that whale book that's huge.
Yeah, you're in trouble.
That's huge.
You want the Caesars?
This feels weird.
Does it? Yeah, it feels weird. It's a weird one.
That reminded me of the commercial. My arm's getting bigger? Yeah, I think they're getting bigger.
Nice.
All right, guys. Do you remember what book this is?
And of course I don't. Dude, just so you know.
All your hard work.
Wait. Before you do that, just so you know, a couple of times yesterday, about 5 times, I had to cut these back open because I forgot to put the little slip inside of them. It was terrible.
Dude, you even put this on the side?
Is that okay?
Yeah, why though?
What do you mean why? Because to keep it shut.
Oh.
Do you know what it is already?
No. Okay. Do I have to read the other one first?
Wait, this is a sequel?
No, not really. It's like a part of another book.
Dude, you can't tell me things like that.
Who suggested this? Jessica Rose and Bree. So I don't think I've actually read anything by Rainbow Rowell. I know a lot of people on BookTube like trash her nowadays, like they do everyone else. So she wrote a book.
What's the book name, man? I don't think you
Carry On.
Oh, okay.
So she wrote a book with some fictional characters in it. Like, I think the girl in the book wrote a fictional story, and this is like the fictional story from that book.
Oh.
So it's like the book of...
So I read the synopsis to this, and it seemed pretty cool. It said something about a vampire. And
so yeah, it's a fictional story that
it was pretty cool.
Is part of like her contemporary book, and I think the character in the contemporary book wrote this story.
Let's read the synopsis.
Simon Snow is the worst chosen one who's ever been chosen. That's what his roommate Baz says, and Baz might be evil and a vampire and a complete git, but he's probably right. Half the time, Simon can't even make his wand work, and the other half, he's set something on fire.
I got triggered. I was just like, I'm in. You said wand. I want to read this book now.
His mentor is avoiding him. His girlfriend broke up with him, and there's a magic-eating monster running around wearing Simon's face. Baz would be having a field day with all of this if he were here. It's their last year at the Watford School of Magics, and Simon's infuriating nemesis didn't even bother to show up. Carry On is a ghost story, a love story, and a mystery. All right.
So I literally stopped reading when it got to Wand.
Oh.
I promise you I did.
There's I don't know if I love yellow, but
It looks nice with the red. The contrast is nice.
people, like, when this book first came out, people were all about it. Then you know how it goes. It's like, it's been out for a while, so everyone trashes on it.
Well, it's because when it first comes out, all the reviewers give it those fake reviews because they want to be nice to the people that sent them the free books. And then after people actually get the book and start reading it, they're like, I don't really like this. So let's start saying crap about it because I don't really like
then
it.
again, it was recommended to me by a couple patrons.
But they may have not read it. They may just want to read it. And maybe
no, they read a lot, so they probably did read it.
So I saw the synopsis sounded all right. I was like, this is interesting.
It sounded interesting. So I think
And it seemed like a nice, like, lighthearted, like, fun book to read. And sometimes you just need that, you know?
Yep.
The letters are also, the words are pretty big.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think the girl that wrote this fake story in the other story, it's supposed to be like a Harry Potter, like, fanfic type deal.
Oh, cool. If they are in school, that's what they just said.
It's supposed I believe it's supposed to be Harry Potter fanfic that she created, and then this is what happened.
Okay.
So I think it's interesting. If I like it, I'll probably want to go back and read the original that this book came from. And I think there's a sequel to this now.
Okay.
So I don't hate it. We'll see.
So is that it?
That's it. That's enough. I have a lot.
So remember, if you guys want to pick up your own one of these, I'll put a link in the description. And you can do the same thing that we do all the time. We got a lot of books, man.
Dude, these are what I need to read.
All of these?
Yeah.
All of these.
That's a lot of pages.
It's a lot, yeah. These are thick boys. You can do it.
Well, I finished this one, and I started this one.
So realistically, you finished the smallest one.
Yeah, I did. Well, that was before I even chose anything.
You know what I should probably do with these? I put all the small ones at the top and the big ones at the bottom. I should probably kind of mix them around next time a bit so that you don't, Anytime
I get a high number, it's a bad thing, not a good thing.
Also, I mentioned this. So Jessica Rose and Bree, if this book is bad, your fault. Not my fault. Your fault. If it's good, my choice, my fault for choosing those books out of your list. So it's a win-win for me. It's a win-win for me. If you guys want to vote on stuff like that, you can join our Patreon and join the Discord. 2021 is going to be a doozy. I think I said that last year about 2020.
Why, though?
And it was a doozy, dude. It was a doozy. It was terrifying and scary and
annoying.
Horrible. But 2021, I think, is going to be more of the same, but we're ready for it. I hope. We got to do a lot of reading. You guys should go read some. And if you want to use Audible, we also have a link down below for that. It helps out the channel if you use our thing. If you don't already have Audible, you can check it out for free and get some free books and stuff. And I don't know how long that's going to last. So good luck. And do you have anything else to say? Ooh, let's give them a word because this is a long video. So if you are still here, good for you and thank you. And you're one of our favorites. So to let us know that you hung in there, I want you to write the word. You want a weird one? I got a weird one.
What?
Headphones.
Okay.
Include the word headphones in your sentence or comment. And then we'll know, like, hey, headphones.
Sometimes, like, time goes by and we read old comments and we're like, why are they
talking
about this?
About, like, fire. Like, what's going on? Like, why is this happening?
Like, oh, that must have been the word.
Yeah. Because we change it every time, you know?
Yeah.
So that's one of the things. That's it. Anything else?
Nope.
No? All right. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed. And stay tuned for some more stuff. I got some wand stuff coming up, hopefully soon.
Say bye, Meek.
Bye, Meek.
Bye.